Hi, and welcome back to Wrap It Up Wednesdays on Adventures with Piccadilly. If you watched last week's episode, you know that I'm showing you two completely different looks made out of the same two scarves and one shaper that I recently wore when trying to pack minimal to go on a trip away with my family. So if you haven't seen last week's, check out the link in the description and go watch it. Or you can watch it at the end, that's fine too. Either way, we're gonna see the second wrap. So this is the wrap that I wore. It's a little more of a me style, but still kind of a me plus versus my normal, like just one quickie wrap that I wear. So I'm gonna start wearing, as I said, a Rapunzel Cloud 9 shaper. This one is blonde, but you can do whatever color you like. They have a gray one now, it's beautiful. I'm kind of jelly. Anyway, not the point. So I'm gonna start, and this wrap starts offset with the first scarf, the base scarf we'll call it. So I'm gonna fold my base scarf under so that the width of the scarf is similar to the semi-circumference of my head and shaper. And I'm gonna put the shorter end on the opposite side of where I want the tail to end up, because this one does have an exposed tail. I like to do a tail on my non-dominant side. I'm right-handed, so what I'm gonna do is start with the shorter end on my right-hand side so that when I cross and tie them in the back as I'm doing now, the shorter end ends up on my non-dominant side. This is a pretty good tail length for me. If it's much longer than that, it drives me crazy and I play with it and my kids like to pull on it all the time. So that's fun. All right, so I've got my little tail here and I've got my long tail on my dominant side. Then I'm going to take my second 2-in-1 shaper. As I said, both of these scarves are 2-in-1 shapers from Rapunzel. They're perfect for this type of wrap because they are light and they can layer them without adding a lot of heaviness to the scarf, but they're also full coverage, so you can wear one by itself without worrying about being exposed. So typically when I add a second scarf to a wrap, I put it over my head or I do something and you can see it kind of on the top. But what I'm going to do here, because I actually want the full length of my second scarf, is just tie it onto this first tail. Simple square knot, doesn't need to be too tight or anything. Once you start braiding, it's not gonna go anywhere, so don't worry about it. Just however you can get it tied on, and you want it to be pretty much equal lengths. So I'm gonna tie it, slide it all the way up, tie it again just a little bit so it stays right in the right spot. And then I've got this kind of thick tail going on over here. From this point, I'm going to braid, braid, braid. Now, when you're braiding, you can either braid tight or braid loose. The tighter you braid, which is like the tighter you hold your hands up when you're braiding, the thicker your braid will be, which will make it both shorter for less length to go over your head and stand up more. If you let your hands be kind of loose and loosely braid, then it's going to be a lot thinner and go further. It's really just personal preference on that one. Play around with it, see what you like. If you like a more substantial kind of up on the top of your head, do it tight. If you don't, like me, and you like a more simple look, do it kind of loose. But really just playing around with it is the best thing you can do. So I'm gonna braid until I get to the end of my shortest leg, which I didn't actually do a very good job of doing the pink one in half, so they're not quite even, but that really doesn't matter. So at that point, I'm gonna hold the shortest and the longest in my one hand, and I'm going to wrap the medium length one, I hope that makes sense, the one that's neither short nor long, all the way around the other two, do a simple knot, pull it tight to kind of pinch these two in. I do this every time I have a braid that I use. It holds great. These don't move at all. And you just make sure they're not going anywhere without the added bulk of adding like a scrunchie or whatever. So from here, I'm just gonna flip it up and around. Now you have a couple options at this point. You can wear it closer to your head. To me, this looks more like a Renaissance princess, and I love it if that's a look I'm going for. But otherwise, to me, it just makes my face really heavy. So I tend to put my braid further back, and my normal place is to hit kind of right where the bulk of the shaper, like this is my head, and then the fluff of the shaper comes up here. So I like to put kind of right in that edge and then bring it around. So from here, you again have two options. If you like this bigger tail look, you can weave this in simply by slipping this shorter loose tail through the same, loop that you made with that middle. I used the pink one, and that will hold right there and be super cute. Or if you don't want a big loop, or a big tail, excuse me, just keep bringing it all the way around. And then as you bring your tails and your fringe up, all the way around, and just tuck it in as you go. And it takes a couple of minutes to work all the fringe in. Some people leave their fringe loose. I think it tickles, and so I don't. But it's really up to you and kind of the look that you like for your wraps. There's tons of options with these, and that's what's great about wrapping, is you can make whatever you like work for you. So here it is with the long tail wrapped and a short tail exposed, and I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and comment down below. Tell me if you liked it. Tell me how you do a similar wrap, or if you have a wrap that you'd like me to try out. Throw it all in the comments and I'll get right back with you. Thanks. See you next week.